All right, guys, we are going to go ahead and get started today. Thank you for joining me to talk about Canvas Studio. Oops, sorry. I'm going to give her a moment to jump in, guys. So sorry. Hey, everyone. So I'm going to throw a link in the chat if you want to join our what is this called? Digital learning space on Canvas. It'll have stuff relevant for today. Like if you want to go back and how'd you say to add that video or how to add questions, that stuff will be in Canvas in a published module. And then as things change, modules get published and unpublished. So that link is in the chat, and make sure you sign in with your name and your school so that we can make sure that you guys get CEUs. And thanks for joining us today. I'm going to talk about this new thing that Canvas has in there called Canvas Studio. And it's a really cool media tool that's built right inside of Canvas that it allows you as instructors, as you put videos in Canvas like that your kids would be watching, you can now have discussion around that. So just like we have a discussion board, it kind of adds that feature into a video. So as kids watch it, you could be making comments and they kind of can reply back and forth to you and or each other as they watch the video. And it kind of moves us to just like passively watching a video to engaging and responding to each other. You can also, if you've seen Edpuzzle, it has a quiz feature where you can add questions in there. And if we set it up as an assignment, that quiz, those grades can go straight into Gradebook. So it just kind of makes more of a little interactive video learning experience compared to just putting the video in the module. Now we have a couple of other things we can do with it. So like I said, one feature you can do here is add questions using a quiz feature, very similar to Edpuzzle, but now it doesn't pop out. It stays right inside of Canvas, and it can be part of a page, like maybe you have some text in there and then a video that supports that text. You can also have discussion around that. And again, both the teacher and the students can respond to each other. You can also annotate a video. So you can add like a headline and text. You can hyperlink out to something else. So when I think about using annotation, I think sometimes about vocab, like as I watch a video, like one that I have in there today, I was watching it and it said something about a micromoon, and I was a science teacher, but I was like, what's a micromoon? And so I was thinking as kids were watching it, they might get hung up on some of that vocab. So you can annotate that in there and have the word and the definition and kind of help them in context as they watch the video. I also think about like as the video starts, you could add an annotation in there and the screen comes up and it says like by the end of this video, you like almost like your learning target, you should know this by watching the video. So those are some ways annotations can help, or like with the hyperlink, like it's almost like giving your kids options as they watch the video. Like if you're curious about this, here's a hyperlink and you can go explore more about this topic. So just adding some other interactive features in your videos. So that's 3 ways that we'll talk about. And what's really great about the videos being in there is that all of these videos have insights. So before we were adding text and video in our modules or on a page, but we don't know if our kids watched it. We put it there for them, but there was no way to tell. So with insights, you can actually see like who is watching it. You can toggle between your whole class data or individual students. You can see like, let's say you have comments in there. It's really nice that it gives these blue lines here and the videos above it. So you can see like, oh, that kid just jumped and watched exactly where those video questions were. So it kind of gives you those insights about your kids. So let me kind of take you through and show you what that looks like. So let's start back with that quiz feature, the questions. Well, let me jump over here into this one. Sorry, guys. There we go. Let me go back to this. So the one I was in earlier, we'll go back and that's my training playground, and I had little short notes, but here's a little bit more in depth. Oh, sorry. A little bit more in depth. Like if you go back and visit this page, like to create a Canvas Studio quiz, the steps there, but I'm also going to show you that today. So this is note an assignment. We will talk today about creating an assignment. Remember, that's graded and goes to Gradebook versus creating a page. And a page might just have, but have content on it like text in the video that you want your kids to watch, but that stuff is not graded. So that's the 2 different ways you can use this. So the quiz feature will be created as an assignment so that it can give your kids a grade if you'd want it to. And it kind of looks like this. This is the teacher view, right? So you've got your video in here, and that's how it looks for the kids the first time they click get started. And you see the questions, little question marks in there. So that lets them know where the questions are. Continue, and you see I can rewatch it. Like, I'm not sure if I saw that answer. I can go back and rewatch, and the analytics or the insights will let you know that.
Many engineering. An organism's DNA makes up
And you can
its
see
genes,
so you do
which
have the
code for
option
all the
to
proteins the organism needs to survive.
whenever this.
Each gene code.
It does give you the option to include those question marks. So maybe you don't want your kids in. Maybe you say, like, I noticed that my kids are just jumping to the question. I'll show you when you create this, you can set it up where those question icons appear, or you can choose for them not to. And I do want you to note that right now, like, the kids will answer the question, but they have to watch the video all the way to the end to submit. The student moves the video, does that show up in Insights? Oh, that's a great question, Jennifer. It does not. That's a great question. So let me say, all right, so that's those in there. And I want you to see that they have to go all the way to the end in order to submit their responses, or they will have answered and you won't see those results because they haven't submitted. So that may be like the first time your kids are in there. I can't just watch the first, if I have the 2 questions here in the beginning, I can't just watch here, even though I've answered them. They have to get to the end and click submit, or you won't see those answers. So that's something to keep in mind. We'll make sure it's got to be created as an assignment for gradebook. Oh, the question types, you have multiple choice, true and false, and then multiple answer, like more than one answer is correct. So those are 3 quiz types. And right now I'm in teacher view, and you can see the details. You can add captions, and we'll talk about that later on, but I want you to see details that come straight from YouTube. So you can edit that when you get them in. So you see right here, I want to get you to the end. They have to watch it to the end and submit the quiz in order for you to get that result. I'm the teacher, so it's not going to let me do it. You have to do it as test student, but I wanted you to see all the way to the end, have to go to the end to submit it. These right here, you see at the edit details, it brings us over straight from YouTube. So I may not want all that other stuff in there. No, not description. I mean, not title, description. A lot of times I get all that mess out. I just don't want all that words in there, or I'm going to do something more specific, like put a question in there for my kids. So all that stuff is editable, and then you will see the quiz results. So this is teacher view, and let me show you, don't forget your student view up here at the top right. Like, sometimes I just like to go in and check things. I want to see how it looks for a student versus a teacher. And you can go in as a test student and actually submit it. It won't let you submit it as the teacher, but it'll let you see it in student view. Sorry that our internet's lagging a little bit here today. I know you guys know that feeling some days. So you see for the kids, all they see is the details and their quiz results. So if they click here and they say no quiz results, but I answered the 2 questions, it doesn't matter if they didn't hit to the end. So that's one conversation you can have. And they're like, Miss Stouffer, I answered them. Like, I don't know why you don't see it. You can say, go look at your quiz results. What do you see? Oh, well, I haven't yet. So that's just kind of helping you guide that conversation. But that is an assignment with the questions in the middle of the video that can be taken as a grade. Any questions there? Please feel free to throw something in the chat, unmute yourself. As I go through, tell me to slow down. Please feel free to interject. So I'm gonna leave student view. And let's head back to that original page. So that was quiz feature, adding questions in a video. And you call it a quiz feature, but it doesn't I mean, that's just what Canvas Studio calls it. It's just questions about any content, but it is the quiz feature. All right, now we have a discussion. So before was an assignment, a discussion would be just on a page, and it's your kids, instead of having a face-to-face conversation, you can have a virtual discussion surrounding a video. So let me show you what this looks like. So I was trying to think of stuff that would have been a little bit on standard. So I thought, oh, the moon phases, when I was looking at cool things that happen in November. So one thing you can get out of this, November 19th will be the last time this year we can see a lunar eclipse, and you can look at that with the naked eye. So maybe you get a little bit of fun stuff out of it. But essentially I'm thinking of like you're designing a page and maybe your module, and as your kids are doing independent practice, here's a page in your module that has like a little bit of text to help them learn about the moon. And here's the video that we put in Canvas before. But now your students can have a discussion, like, so it can be an assignment that you have to go interact with this content and watch the video and be part of the discussion, respond to two people. Give me just a moment. Respond to two people and so forth. So I just want to click play for a moment so you can kind of see what this looks like. I tried to put the things in the beginning so we didn't have to watch a ton of the videos. So you see right there how it shows up. Anytime there's a comment, whether it's a comment from you or a comment from your students, it shows up right to the right of the video. And it also, you see when I click it, it highlights that it highlighted it blue for me. So if I'm like, oh, I want to respond to that, oh, here's the one it is. It was my teacher's and it lets them know how to go to that. Or if it was a classmate's, it will highlight it when you select it. And then also as you are playing, whether you or your student, as soon as you start typing, it will pause the video to let them get their thoughts out. You see that pops up. And so every time you click the comment, more and more little dots will pop up as more discussion is being had. And just keep in mind that just like in a classroom, like as you're having a face-to-face discussion, you know, eventually the convo starts to die down. So you as the teacher might have to, excuse me, re-interject back in there to keep that conversation going for a little bit. You also have the opportunity to subscribe to comments. So let's say this is our current topic. This week, I'm going to subscribe to comments, and that can be turned on and off at any time. So that was our discussion. And then I'm going to keep going right here. I'll go back to that home page in a second. But the other thing we talked about was an annotation. So we've got quiz questions inside of a video. You've got the discussion that we just saw. And then this is your annotation feature. Remember how I told you like one way you could do it is to help highlight vocab in a video. So it just pauses it, the kid reads it, and they click continue, and that keeps going. So it could be helping with vocab. It could be letting them know what they're going to be seeing as they watch this video. So like this is just saying like, it's just a little note. Make sure you do this. Don't forget to follow up with this assignment, or it just prompts them to think about something, but maybe you don't want them to respond. So those are just some ways that you can use that. And that is called the annotation feature. So right here, annotating with the headline, text, or hyperlink. So we're going to go through making some of these because it doesn't take long. So let me jump into, oh, sorry, I want to show you insights real quick. So no matter which way you're using the video, remember you've got your insights to tell you how your kids are interacting with that. So whether it's a quiz or a discussion, I kind of want to show you those insights here. So you can see in this one, the student only watched all the way up through here. No one made it to the end of the video. And this was just a discussion one. So you can see which students watched, which students haven't watched yet, and you can toggle in between versus your whole class. And also you've got captions here. So it doesn't matter any video you have, if you've got students who might need captions. Some YouTube videos have this. But one thing that's nice about Studio is that when you click captions, you have to request them. So it's not an instant thing like when you turn the box on and it automatically has captions. I did this one evening, and then by the next morning, I had an email that the captions were created, and it sent me a link. And when I came in here, you have to review and publish those. So I haven't published them yet because I just wanted you guys to see. It's very nice that like I had the video playing on another screen, and it let me know the times that it was coming up. Everything was good. And then I was like, oh, that's not what I said. And sometimes with my Southern drawl, sometimes it does get a little mixed up. So I really liked that this lets you edit your captions for those students that need it. All good so far? Any questions? Cool. Please don't hesitate to unmute or throw something in the chat. Okay, so now we've talked about what it can do. Where do we find Canvas Studio? So there's two ways that I want you to think about it. The first one, I'm gonna zoom in here because I know that's small. The first one is where the videos can be stored and edited, right? So we're gonna go and we're gonna add videos. You are going to find those right here in this gray, if you look at your Canvas studio, your Canvas, once you're logged into your Canvas dashboard, you've got that gray toolbar, you'll see studio there. Every single video that you upload will be found there. It can be ones from YouTube or ones you've created, right? But that will be in your Canvas Studio gray one. Then once you point that video to a specific course, like here I've got my training playground opened, and then I can go to Studio here and find ones that are very specific to my first period. So here's every single video, and these are videos only that you've added to that course. Okay, so that's one way where you find videos and where they're stored. The other one is how you'll see Canvas Studio when you're trying to add the video to a page. And it just took me a minute to get used to this kind of workflow. So you can do it in an assignment, and that is this page right here. This is an assignment. You click add a new assignment. You can put your instructions up here, but you want to go down to submission type, external tool, and Canvas Studio. And I'll walk you through this. I just wanted to have this stuff in the page, but you'll add it as an assignment. This is for gradebook. This is if you want those questions to go to gradebook, you add it through Canvas Studio. But if you just want to do a content page, like you saw with that moon phases, I had some text, I had a video and discussion. Here you would do a page and you would just go to your plug here for the extra apps and now go to Canvas Studio. Not graded, just ways that kids are interacting and learning. You can go through and look at the discussion and give yourself a checklist, but Canvas doesn't grade that automatically for you. So again, one is storage. Once you add them, here's where you find them. And then once you've added them, here's how you put them on a page so your kids can see them. So I'm going to walk you through those steps. I just wanted that to be there because it really just took, I was like, man, I see Canvas Studio everywhere. There's the icon, there's the icon. So it just took me a minute to figure out that workflow. Okay, so now let's talk about you guys creating a video with Canvas Studio. The first thing you want to do is find a video. Today, let's just focus on a YouTube video. It can be one that you make later on, but let's just find one that's already created today. And let's go upload that to Canvas Studio. So let me show you how that's done. I've already got a YouTube video found, right? So I've already added this one. So let me go to DNA. Sorry, I had to think of something that I taught. So something on DNA. Oops, I should have said DNA YouTube. Give me a second. Someone was coming face to face, so I'm mirroring. Let me turn this off and maybe my internet will speed up. Oh, yes, this one will be fine. All right, so I've got my video and let's get that link. Once you have your link copied,
students with ADHD.
You're going to be in Canvas Studio. Remember, we're going to go over here. Actually, let me do it here so that stays up. We'll go to Studio. So once you click on Studio on the gray, up at the top, you're going to see the option to add it. So I am going to pause here. You will see in a moment there will be an option to record. I'm not going to really dive into that today. I will say that it's limited on a Chromebook. Like you can do a recording of your face, you can do a screen recording, but the editing stuff is limited. Your desktop computer has all the functions. If you want to record yourself and make your own videos, that is there. But for today's PB, we're just getting started with videos that are already created. So instead of record, we're just going to go to add. And you just paste that link in there. And when you click add video, boom, there it is. So remember, this is the Gray Studio. All videos are added here. And then I noticed that as things get kind of busy going on here, I started making collections. So I could make a collection called cells. And then it becomes very easy. I'm gonna go back to my whole library once I've made that. Now I can go, okay, yeah, I think this one will belong to cells. Or you see I can create a new collection here, but then it's really nice how it starts putting those tiles together. So like, yep, I'm gonna move that one to cells. And when those videos start getting a little bit busy, you can start creating collections. And I like that it has little tiles so I can see which videos were put in there. So keep that in mind if you start adding a lot of videos. But once the video's in here, actually I'm gonna pause here. I'm gonna pause and let you guys go find a video and add it before I keep going. Take 2 minutes to open up your Canvas and open up YouTube and go add a video. So remember, here it is, the gray. Click the add up here and paste that link in and unmute yourself if you need me to walk through anything. Take about 2 minutes for that. Jennifer, not that I know of yet, or at least not from Hope County. So her question was, are some of these in the Commons? But I will say I created like a module and had some Canvas Studio, that the same things that we're seeing now in my personal training playground. And after I created that, and then I sent it to the Canvas PD space because I wanted to mimic like teachers creating and sharing and seeing how that stuff would, all the videos still shared. What did not share was my comments. And even that is the same. If I add a video here in the studio and then I make comments in like my first period class, but then I send it to my second period class, those comments do not stay with it. And when I did some digging about why, because I was like, God, I just spent all that time adding all those comments and now I have to redo it. It was saying that comments, the way Canvas looks at them is that it's specific to this class of students. So more teachers were having to do work. Like when I sent it, shared it with other kids, they might not use the same questions. So they said comments are specific, but I haven't seen videos in Commons. I'm not going to say no. I just, but that you can share them. If you build them in a module, you can still share them with other teachers.
I have another question,
Mhm.
and this might be off topic, but at the beginning of the year, we were looking for something like Nearpod where you can show it on the screen and then kind of send it to the students and control their Chromebooks.
Mhm.
And someone said that Canvas Studio had something like that. Is that true or is that false?
I don't think so. I know you can do that like with Go Guardian, but not, I don't know that feature in Canvas.
No, it's like, I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with Nearpod, but when you go
I
through
am.
the slides and yeah, you can control, you know,
Can
they
control
can't go
that.
past the thing. So is this part of the studio is mainly for asynchronous learning or independent?
Yes.
Because you wouldn't do this whole group. This would
That's
just
right.
be like, maybe if it's struggling students or they needed more intervention, you can assign these, and you can't assign these specifically to certain students within a class.
If it was an assignment, yes. If it's created as a page,
No. Okay.
no. And that's a good point too. So I've seen this, like with one teacher that I'm working with, for the independent practice, she has like a page in Canvas that just has like the learning target and some information surrounding, like it kind of mimics this is what I just did with my kids in whole group, but I put this in like, sometimes it's an infographic and a video. It's just a page that she designed. So if kids have questions, they know that sometimes it's her slide deck in there, but they are to go to that page in Canvas and re-interact with that. That way it protects her small group time. So that's kind of how she uses it, if that makes sense. And then another teacher, she has like on her checklist that her kids have to get a mark for interacting with the digital content she's built. But that's just two of the people that I've kind of been like working with and playing around how this looks in the classroom.
Okay, thank you.
That's a great question. No, thank you. All right, so everybody good with getting a video added to their Canvas Studio? Sorry, I thought someone was at the door. All right, so then once it's in here, you have the 3 dots. And then here's where we have those options. So let's go real quick, and an easy thing to do is annotate the video. So I want you to notice at the bottom, you've got the plus. As long as the video is paused, you can add a question. So once I click play, you'll see that plus.
Stated Clearly presents.
So I'll send some people like, I can't
What
add
is
a question,
DNA,
or I can't add my
how does it
question or
work?
annotation. Make sure you click,
DNA, also
Pause.
known as deoxyribonucleic
and you can add a question here. Or I'm doing quiz. Headline, DNA deoxyribonucleic acid. Whew, it's been a long time on that. There we go. And then that's how it appears. So again, this can be a learning target. It could be a word and a definition, just anything that you might want your kids to pause at and think about that they just heard in the video. And then you can continue.
Ribonucleic
Sorry,
acid
double clicking.
is a molecule.
And then
It's
it'll
a bunch
keep
of
going.
atoms
And when you're ready
stuck
to add
together.
another
In the case of
annotation,
DNA, these
pause and you'll see the plus where you can do that. So that's annotation, just little prompts along the way for kids. By the end of this video, I want you to know what DNA is and how it works, or be able to explain, you can put your verbs and stuff in there. So that's annotation. Then we also have the quiz feature. So I'm gonna go to create a quiz real quick. You can put a description in there. Here's where I want you to note hide the question markers on timeline. So let's say when you look at your insights and I only see blue bars where I see question marks, right? My kids are just clicking to the questions and answering it. That's all teacher preference. Some might want to say, if my kids know the answer, they don't have to watch the video if they know the answer. But some might say, nope, I'm hiding these questions. And essentially the kid has to watch the whole video because they don't know where the questions will pop up at. So that's just preference on that, like which way you prefer. So you can check that to hide or unhide those question markers. And then the same thing, it's got to be paused in order for you to add a question. And you've got your 3 choices, multiple choice or true or false. So you could say, sorry about my typing, y'all. I don't know why we have such a delay in here today. And then, you see you can pick your answer choice, add more answer choice. You have the option to shuffle your choices. And one thing I really like is that question feedback. Like if they get it right, great job. And if they're incorrect, you can say, remember, or make sure to go back and read or watch, or remember that activity, or you can just give them the answer and explain that, but they can get feedback based on what their answer is. And then you see how those pop up there and you can just keep adding those questions. Oops.
a dog or tissues make up.
And you got to hit pause to get that plus button back. Say true or false. And you see how those questions pop up there. And when you're done editing, you click finish. But I do want you to note the little rocket ships up there in the top right. It kind of goes black but you see that rocket ship right here's another rocket ship. The moon phases have one that tells me for those I've created quizzes. So one thing I kind of like about this, so I have my video and I've added questions over it, but Canvas still recognizes these as 2 videos, and it gives you the option to use a plain video if you want discussion, or you can embed the one with questions. So it does, it still saves them as 2 separate ones, so you can use them both ways. So I'm going to give you a moment, like maybe 2 more minutes to that video you just added. Go annotate something on it, make sure that you can click the plus, or maybe go create a quiz on it. I'll let you pick one real quick. And I just want to make sure you can interact, use those 3 dots to add something to that video. So take 2 minutes to do that, please. And let me know if you have any questions or something that is acting up. All good. Any questions so far? Perfect. Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you real quick. I'm in my module view of my course. And so I'm going to show you now we've added the video to Canvas Studio. We've created a quiz. We've added some annotations. So now let's talk about adding them to your module or your page so that kids can see it. So I'm in a module and I'm going to click the plus button. And the first one I'm going to start with is that quiz feature. And remember, it has to be made as an assignment if you want their grade from the questions to go to your grade book and therefore to PowerSchool if you have it set up. So you don't have to take it as a grade like that goes to your grade book. They can still answer the questions and you get data from that. But if you want it to go to grade book, has to be created as an assignment. All right, so I've created my assignment. I'm going to go to edit. And if you get hung up on this, back on the pages, if you're in that PD space, and I can throw that link in again in a moment, it has all the screenshots and the steps for this. Also, this recording will be found on our YouTube channel. So I know it's a lot to think through, like adding to Studio or to Canvas, adding to my module view. So any of this will be there for you to go back and look at. So here is where you'd put our instructions. And then down here at submission type, you're going to go to external tool, find, and right here, Canvas Studio. Then it's going to put up all the videos that you have in there. You've got some sorting features, but I also want you to, oh no, not yet, not note yet. So when you select it, here's where I want you to note that standard embed. That is the video with no questions, just the video and any annotations you may have added. Your video quiz embed is the one with the questions. So every time you add a video, no matter if it's in an assignment or a page, it will prompt you, make sure you pick the right one here. So we want the quiz because that's the one that has the questions. And then I can embed it and select, and then you just go down and finish setting this up, set your due date, and save that. And so there it is. That would be your instructions that we added. Give them more than just that word instructions. Remember, you can edit. This pulls this information straight from YouTube. So if you don't want all that there, you can edit those details and put your learning target or anything in there that you'd want. And for every video, you've got now your insights, options to add captions, and your quiz results. But this will be set up because you added it as an assignment. It will be set up to go to your grade book. Okay, so that's one way you can add it as an assignment. Questions, gradebook. We've also got a page. So this is what I was saying, that one teacher that I work with, she sets up her pages and she's got relevant stuff to the learning target they're doing, and that's where her kids are supposed to revisit if they have a question about the content while she's doing her small group time. So that would be create a page for a discussion. So it would be like you adding, I guess, anytime you've added a video in Canvas before, even if you have zero discussion around it, like I'm not ready to do the discussion, I'd rather have it face to face. It will at least give you the insights to see if your kids are watching that video. So think about anytime you've used a YouTube video before, at least if you add it this way, you could literally do nothing with the video, but you'll be able to see what kids watched it and how much they watched. So this would be the discussion. You go to edit here. Add any text you want, instructions, pictures always help. Anything that you want to, you can add up here in your rich text, and then wherever your cursor is, you want to now go to this little plug, the apps, and right here is Canvas Studio again. Excuse me. And this will pull up your library again, and I click the button, but then again, remember, I'm so sorry. You've got your standard embed versus your quiz. So you could put your quiz here. You could put your quiz on this page and those questions are there, but it will not be graded. You'll still get data from it for you to use, like if you wanted to just know what your kids know, but not go to gradebook. Or again, you can do the standard embed. Anytime you do standard, that's the discussion view. I'm gonna click save real quick. So there it is. Any text would have been above it, any pictures, just like you saw with that moon phases. And then there's the video for your kids. And then
Stated Clearly presents What is DNA and how does it work?
and that's the
DNA,
annotation
also
that
known
we
as
added.
deoxyribonucleic.
See, that's the annotation we added a moment ago. So like this, any annotations will be in there. And let me click continue.
acid
And when you start writing to your students,
is a molecule. It's a bunch of atoms stuck together. In
see,
the
now
case
those
of
little
DNA,
dots will
these
pop
atoms
up,
combine to form the shape
and every
of
time
a
your kids add a comment or something that pops up, you can replies to each other. You can subscribe to the comments here. So again, this would just be another way if you were adding videos to your Canvas module to check how kids are watching it and to maybe have discussion around that video if it would be on a page. So that's the two ways that we can use that. But I also, that's teacher use. There's also ways that your students can use this. Where am I at? There we are. So all those steps are in there. Like you got to get the video. If you want to annotate it, there's the steps, add questions, or create a discussion. That's the three ways that you can use it, but your kids can use it too. So when you create an assignment, if you want your kids, like maybe they're building a presentation and you want them to practice going through and speaking through that presentation, or if those kids are reading and you want to hear their fluency, but you know, I've got to do M class, so I'm already checking in. So I need them like recording and reading where you can go back and leave feedback. You can do Canvas Studio student submissions. So that is setting up an assignment just like normal. But when you go to the submission type, you will do online submission. And if you select text entry or file uploads, your kids will have access to do it just like you did through the rich content editor. And I feel like when people say that, it gets so confusing. So I do want to walk you through that. But you have your assignments. You create a new assignment. You know, you want to do your, is it 100 points, 50 points? How are you doing that? When you do an online submission, you want to make sure that you check text and file uploads and then select your due date. And what happens is your kids then can select the Canvas Studio icon and record themselves, and that's what they're submitting as their work. So if you've ever seen or heard people talk about, especially my elementary people, like kids using Seesaw, they use those iPads and they record themselves talking all the time. So Canvas now has their version. If you do an online submission, if you have text or file upload, it will give them the option to record themselves reading, speaking, then give feedback to each other and so forth using Canvas Studio. So any questions on that? And it's a lot. There's a lot of options to how to use that, whether it's you or your students. So do I have any questions real quick? Perfect. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. I am going to throw that link back in the chat if you would like to enroll in the digital learning space. That's the one I think that I'm in right here. It has whatever current topic we're talking about. So today it's got Canvas Studio. That'll be there published for a little bit. But as we are doing different things with teachers, we publish an unpublished module. So that link I didn't hit send. That link that I put in the chat there will enroll you in this course. It will all be on our DIF YouTube channel. If you don't have that, bit.ly/DIF TV. Sorry, that's a lowercase b. Should be a lowercase b, I'm so sorry. bit.ly/DIF TV. It's our YouTube channel. Any PD we do, if you can't make it, we always put the recordings on there in case you want to go back. But please don't hesitate as you're trying something new. Like maybe you're saying, hey, I'd like to try that, the Canvas Studio student submissions, but can one of the DIFs come in my classroom and teach my kids how to do that, or pair up with me as I have them do their first video submission? We love to do stuff like that and pair up as you're trying something new. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. That's what we're here for. And I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me at 5 p.m. when I know y'all have had a long rainy day. So I sure do appreciate y'all. Tag us in if you need us. And I appreciate all you guys are doing. And I hope you have a great evening.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you. Good to see you, Ms. Thompson.
Good to see you. Thanks for everything. I'm gonna try it.
Try it. Let me know how it goes and tag me in if you knew me. I've missed being out there with you.
All right, I miss you too.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Sam. Bye.
I am trying to, this is Mr. Blake. I'm trying to hit the message to in the, oh Lord.
That's okay. Tell me what you're doing again. You want to share your screen? Would that be
sorry.
easier? Actually, let me
I'm
quit
trying to-
recording for a moment.
I'm trying to do the, you said it was in the chat.